I'm Dick Rovinelli. I'm a former IT director. I retired in 2007. And from 2007 to 2014, I really stayed in my Microsoft IT environment. I worked with firms helping them manage their IT shops. In 2016, I actually introduced myself to the wild and wonderful world of mobile and Mac development. So then from there, I picked up a relationship or a contract a while back, and people wanted to take advantage of some of the things I know and have me put together a mobile application for scheduling healthcare professionals. And I spent the last few years working on that project. And as part of that project, I became aware of Syncfusion and its capabilities. Well, the application I had, I made a decision. I looked at all the packages that were available, IDEs, et cetera, and came down to three, JetBrains, Flutter, and React. And I finally chose Flutter because it appeared to give me what I was looking for in terms of UI and more importantly, a common code base across applications. So one of the things I found in the initial development phase was that I was continually running into problems of versioning, transitive dependencies. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term or not. So you get a package that looks really good and you put it in, everything's going great, and then somebody updates something and everything stops. So I realized that my best bet was to see if I could find a set of packages or a suite of packages, something I had when I was involved in the in Angular. I was doing a big Angular project, and so I found some packages that were very good there. But so I looked and I found Syncfusion. I saw the types of widget I was looking for. The grids, the charts, the PDF, date picker, calendar, PDF, very important, PDF handling PDFs. All those were available. So I made a decision to begin trying to utilize it, and that's led us to where we are now. I've been utilizing it now for a few years. I'm very, very, very pleased with what it's given me and what it's given to the project. So it wasn't that I was actually looking for something I couldn't get a hold of. I was really looking for a product that was maintained by a group of people that are involved in the industry. More importantly, had a dedication to stay in the business. So I began looking on the web. And if I don't remember the specific instances, but I came across Syncfusion through my web, working around doing searches on the web. And so I went to the company, I started looking at it, and so I developed some contacts and began working with the project. And that's when my eyes really opened up, and I realized I had made a pretty decent decision. It clearly a much faster development time. I don't have to worry about things I had to worry about. Easy integration, the source available if you need to look at it, et cetera, although I'm not a big fan of that. The other thing I was amazed at how Syncfusion has synchronized its development effort in terms of its various widgets. That is, you're not looking at 1.27a and 1.40b. They really kept it all together, and that's pretty critical. The second thing was probably most amazing. Having been in the business many years and been an IT director, support is critical. And I was just amazed at how your people started working with me and the level of support. I mean, it was superb. They would stay right with it. They'd send me, they'd actually review my code. They'd review the code. They'd send me example codes of it working, documentation. And with one particular issue with a data grid, we couldn't figure out why I was throwing an error and they were not when we're using exactly the same thing. So I let them in my system. We looked around and we spent almost 3 hours, and we finally isolated it to a small cache. And they looked at it and says, so sure enough, that was the issue. We cleared the cache and everything was fine. But I could have spent weeks trying to find that by myself. And these people came in online and worked with me. And as I say, it was just very, very impressive. And the other part of the support is they don't let go. It was been very good to work with people that dedicated to the job. It's good, which tells me it's a good product. It's a good firm behind it, and it's a good product. Flutter was relatively new to me. Really coming from and the initial work I did was Objective-C, and et cetera. And all of a sudden I'm in a whole new environment, new language. So when I moved to Syncfusion, it really took maybe 50-60% of the processing time out. I mean, I had my grids available. I had my data picker. I had my PDF is critical. So I was able to, make my life easier by staying with a product and using it, which I know would work, than going out and trying to find individual plugins for each of the things I wanted to do, which is typically the solution one has to have if you're developing in this environment. There's no real life-changing situations, except I have ease of mind. I know when I do an update, when I see an update come in from Syncfusion, I know I can do that update without my application falling apart. With the exception of some UI issues, etc., I'm doing 90% of my work with Syncfusion widgets, and I'm very pleased. But I knew I needed a signature. I knew I needed charts and graphs. I knew I needed a data grid. I knew I needed a date picker. I knew I needed a calendar. So when I looked at all the things I needed, in the initial specifications laying out these types of widgets, well, that's when it says, you look at this and you say, my God, they covered 90% of everything you need. So why would you go anywhere else? So it wasn't a question of just doing it accidentally. I actually put a lot of homework into making a final decision. There's a project that I've agreed to take on, is the back end of the work I'm doing for the mobile app. And I'm probably going to do it in React, but I've been looking at your web-based application, version of this, and I'm definitely going to use that. There's no question. It'd be silly of me not to use it. So I definitely intend to continue to use in my mobile development Syncfusion, and I definitely will be using the web-based application with all its widgets in the future. Now, the only thing I would like to say is that any developers that listen to this, I may be a little older in age, but I've been in this business for 40 years, and I've seen it all. This is a solid firm with a solid product that will do you well if you decide to use it.